Non-state actors bent on redefining us as a people negatively exude an audacity that threatens us badly. But are we really hopeless? Well, that's what I seek answers to as I engage with my guests on the program today. Hello, my name is Ikpe, and welcome to our program, Violence Free World. And my guest on the show today is the Executive Governor of Kogi State, His Excellency H.E Yahaya Bello. Excellency, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kali.
We'll be right back to continue the conversation right after this. Don't go away. Nigeria's journey through nationhood, like many others, have been characterized with good and bad incidents. A peep at our trajectory points at the 1966 coup as the most traumatic incident, a callous adventure that led to the Civil War of 1967, where millions of lives were lost and properties worth billions destroyed. While efforts at genuine reconciliation have continued, terror marchings with motives that are political, religious and monetary have for a considerable while continued to visit men on the citizens. The hallmarks of the present terror regime are the insurgency in the northeast of Nigeria, the banditry in northwest, herdsmen crisis in the north central and southwest Nigeria, and most recently, the southeast is beginning to experience what looks like the Borno-based insurgency in its nascency. Violence, therefore, has become a common denominator from all and across Nigeria. Fear is palpable as the military continue in their efforts at combating the enemies. Many citizens are beginning to wonder if the situation is now hopeless. Gladly, the reality in certain parts of Nigeria elicits hope. Many analysts will readily cite the calm in the Niger Delta region after a near total war and the reversal in status of parts of Kogi State as an enclave of Boko Haram are all pointers to the fact that the reign of terror is surmountable. Finally, as we hope for an end to terror and a return to normalcy, a positive redefinition of mindsets amongst Nigerians is most necessary. Excellency, you're welcome to the program once again.
Thank you.
Now, there is this impunity that smells everywhere now, to the extent that non-state actors have become very audacious. They carry out attacks without fear. What is fueling all of this?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kali. When you talk of non-state actors, the first question that should come to mind is, who are those non-state actors? Where are they operating from? Are they foreigners? Are they Nigerians? They all come from homes. They have leaders. They have people that they respect. And they go home to sleep. They are walking on the surface of this earth, especially wherever they are acting. I don't know. Yes, it's a serious concern. It is a concern to the extent that we are ready or not ready to act. to put a full stop to this menace.
You know, I hinted, even in our previous conversation, off camera, that really people do things here in this part of the country, and naturally there should have been repercussions, and nothing happens. And now some people are beginning to feel that we can actually also do ours. For how much longer are we going to continue to condone this?
I will just go straight to the answer. If we want to get rid of all of this, let's get rid of their sponsors.
Do you know who the sponsors are?
The authorities should know who their sponsors are. Let's blame the leaders. Let's blame some elites who are not sincere enough to call spade is spade. That is where I will call it. For crying out loud, there's no any inch of the land here in Kogi State today that I will know who is sponsoring any act of criminality. And I will not crush the idiot. I'll crush whoever is sponsoring anybody. I don't have to even call on Mr. President. I don't need to go to the media. I don't need to engage in any rhetorics. I'll go straight on and then deal with whoever is tormenting the people. That is where the solutions should start from.
That brings me to how and why Kogi has been able to stay out of this for a while. Because for some time, it looked like the next hub for Boko Haram was going to be Kogi State. That was long before now. But suddenly, there was a twist. And people stopped talking about it. But we just noticed that that incursion was halted, and it is not the situation anymore. The question remains on the lips of almost everyone. How did that happen? How was that achievable?
I have shared a lot of solutions with some leaders in the past, even currently, and they are never heeded to. It might look very simple, but it will do a lot of good if we want to live in peace and secured, environment. Yes, Kogi State, not was going to be, was actually the second Boko Haram home when I assumed office. ISWAP, even we had some elements of ISIS in Kogi State. As at the time I assumed office, and all forms of other criminalities were taking place. But what did I do? I simply, go for solution. And I was sincere about whatever I was going to do or I was doing. I don't play politics with the insecurity I met on ground. And straight away, I simply identify who are their leaders and their sponsors.
Did you dialogue?
I simply neutralized them. I brought them to justice. And that immediately stopped all the nonsense.
Your strategy has been more like the stick approach. I've not heard anything about carrot here. By carrot, that's when we begin to hear things like ransom payment, dialogue, negotiations, and all of that. How do you reconcile this vis-a-vis your other states that carry out these things, meaning that solution is solution, whichever way?
See, let me take you there. Issue of stick and carrot approach in solving issues like this. Yes, I believe in it. But when you know that carrot approach will not work, the carrot approach as it is being applied in some quota is not really a carrot approach solution. It is enablement. I would rather refer to it as enablement, encouragement. How do you negotiate to release captive from the point of weakness? How would I negotiate with leaders of terrorists when they have no justification whatsoever to be terrorizing my people? How will I negotiate with non-state actor that has no any reason whatsoever to be terrorizing my people? Probably politically motivated or whatsoever. No. show strength, and then they will liquidate. When you talk of carrot, my own approach of carrot in solving Kogi State, crimes and criminality was to ensure that the youths are engaged. There was no market for them to recruit from. No fertile ground for these, criminals to recruit from. We engage them, starting from engaging them in governance. Opening our books, let them come in and see what governance is all about. By that, the security and investors began to come in, and our people have been engaged. Jobs were created. We ensured that we keyed into the federal government, Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari's SIPs, and ensured that our people participated and benefited maximally. To me, these are the carrot approach. So whoever does not want to engage himself in anything meaningful from the various opportunities we have opened up and want to take to criminality, we will deal with you.
Okay, Excellency, let's talk again about this inclusiveness and another aspect of it. I know we've dealt with this extensively in our previous conversation. Yeah. But again, let's look at zoning and the place of the minority. Everyone is entitled to positions, regardless of where you come from. Where is the place of the minorities?
Well, when you talk of zoning, you can't have one straight jacket answer to it, because it applies to so many, issues or stuff. Yes, inclusiveness. All of us are Nigerians. We must have sense of belonging to be part of the system. I believe in that very well. But when you talk of zoning, when apparently it has been practiced almost ever since the independence till date, and it has not worked, why don't we simply go for the best? Let's go for who can solve the problem. Who can solve the problem should be the answer, should be our focus at this point, because we're faced with a lot of challenges. Zoning has been practiced in the past. First, what result has it yielded for us? Why don't you go for the best? That's number one. Two, every part of this country must have sense of belonging. Some zones have tested the presidency and vice presidency since the creation of this country, or at least since 1999 till date, or since independence, 1960 till date. So if we are talking of zoning, then let's go for perfect zoning. Which zone have not produced president or vice president since 1960 or since 1999 till date? Let's allow these zones to have a shot at the presidency and vice presidency, so that we'll all have sense of belonging and inclusiveness, if that is what we are talking of. So if there is this, unofficial understanding of zoning, then let's look towards the zones that have not produced president and vice president. And when you are talking of all of these zones, North Central and Southeast, since 1999 till date, have not produced president and vice president. So let's allow the two of us, or the two zones, look into that, and let other zones support us. But I still insist, let the best come and solve this problem.
Okay, which means the zoning formula or strategy may not have proven to be that potent. Yet there's another aspect, which is to do with the H factor. We're going to come back and have that conversation once we return from this break. This is Violence Free World. I'll be right back after this time out. is Violence Free World. My name is Ikpe, and I'm still here with our special guest, His Excellency H.E Yahaya Bello. Okay, Excellency, going forward now, let's talk about the H factor in governance. Even that to have been talked about too many times, or so many times rather. Now, what do you think this would do to our polity?
A lot of good things that happened to this country in the past were done by younger people. Our past leaders were young. I don't need to go into history, you know all of them. So I think it is high time to give the younger generation the opportunity to come and showcase their talents. A lot of scientific breakthrough that we have today are basically, carried out or done by the younger generation. Look at creative industry. Look at so many wonders of so many wonderful things that are happening today. They are done by younger generation, younger people. The world is changing. Let's change and evolve with it. So it is time you give the young. If you don't engage them, if you don't give them the opportunity to come and serve, you are simply taking their present and future away from them. When will they learn? Is it when the older ones are gone completely that the younger ones will begin to learn? We are not saying that the older generation have not done well. They've tried their best. They should give the way, stay at the rear, and give advice to the younger generations as they drive the system. So, the world is moving at the speed of light, and you require a very young, vibrant, and agile younger generations to drive the system.
Let's look at your willingness to share safety. Now, you have a big day coming up, and as one of your ways to give away, we're looking at certain things. You like to talk to us about this?
Honestly, what is happening today in the country is undesirable. The insecurity, the non-state actor taking arms against the state is alarming and it's disturbing. 18th of June is a special day for me. It's a special day for me and all of us. And that day, well, it's my birthday. And it's a day that I will let to the world what we've done in Kogi State to secure and protect our citizens and livelihood. And that day, I am going to share to all Nigerians what we need to do once again to secure our environment, to secure our state, to secure our country. I'll come out openly, forcefully, and I'll bare my heart once again. Just like I have done before, I will continue to do. It's a 1 kobo that I will give to Nigerians. Thank you very much.
Well, I can say, Excellency, you're holding back, but let's just look forward to 18th of June. Now, Excellency, going forward as to solutions, talking in terms of the security operators that we have today, it's glaring now that their numbers are quite small. The size of the army, the size of the police, is quite small as compared to the population. We have 200 million people, thereabout, and you have a police force that is less than 300,000 people. You have in fact, all of our security personnel put together, I'm sure you're talking far less than 1 million. Is this fair?
Well, it is quite disheartening. I don't really know what is happening. I don't know why we are not recruiting enough and training enough and retraining even those that are there now. You see, everything still boils down to, permit me to use this, leadership. See, a lot of funds are being used for certain things that are not necessary.
Waste.
Well, yes, that is it. To call spade a spade. For crying out loud, Mr. Kali, we spent over 5 trillion on COVID. Very unnecessarily. Such amount would have been used to recruit, to train, to retrain, to motivate, to improve on the welfare of our law enforcement agencies. And to even buy some equipment and bring in technology Because we may not be able to, however, the number of army, the police, the law enforcement agencies we have, we may not be able to man every inch of the land. But utilization, deployment of technology. Nowadays, we should be able to come up with a device or a means of ensuring that every kobo spent, have its, there's value for it. In Kogi State here today, every penny spent, there's value for it.
That's noted, Excellency. Finally, can I get you to comment on the ethnicization of violence? Violence has got a tribe now, it's got a religion, and people do things here and they are called by certain tribes, certain religions, and is further tearing us apart and is exacerbating the whole situation. I don't know what your thoughts are as far as this is concerned.
First, it's political. It's political. Let's stop politicizing criminals or criminality or adding ethnic coloration. Because let me tell you, today when you're talking of banditry or abduction or kidnapping, there are several ethnic nationalities that have engaged in this crime. Banditry, kidnapping is a business as well for some people. Then politicians now capitalize on that and try to attach name or particular identify certain ethnic group to such a crime. Today, you hear the Hausa Fulanis kidnapping, you hear the Yorubas kidnapping, you hear the Igbos kidnapping, you hear other ethnic nationalities that are involved in acts of crimes and criminality. So, in the past, there are armed robbers. Some people try to say it is the Igbos that goes into armed robbery. But you see Hausa Fulanis into an armed robbery. You see Yorubas in armed robbery. You even see some Ibiras in armed robbery, the tribe that I belong, and several other people that are involved in one crime or the other. But what is there is once a crime begins to manifest, and it's like the order of the day, and it's more or less like a business, you see people going into it. That is what is happening now. And that is what we have discouraged our citizens in Kogi State from doing. You can hardly arrest any armed robber or any kidnapper and that will be ascribed to a citizen of Kogi State. So what we do is various ethnic group or their leaders should be able to call and talk to their people to control their people from participating or carrying or engaging in this act of criminality so that they won't be labeled. But largely we have politicized it to label certain ethnic group that they are the ones that are carrying out these crimes and criminality. No, let's not do it that way. If we go that way, then we are not ready to solve the problem. Criminals are criminals. Deal with criminals according to the law of the land, anywhere, anytime.
All right, Excellency, I think that's a very good point to leave it, and it is noted. A criminal is a criminal, and there should be repercussions for whatever it is.
Exactly.
Zone. Well, Excellency, at this point, I'd like to thank you very much for your time, and we hope that when we call you some other time, you oblige us as usual.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, this has been Violence Free World. My name is Ikpe. Same time next week promises a better edition if you endeavor to be here. Until then, please remember to remain on the road to a violence-free Nigeria. Thank you for watching.
No.